when you buy Muzzies, I'm not necessarily pushing any particular brand, but if you buy them in the 6-pack, they come with these practice blades. And so whatever size you buy, you're able to not damage your broadheads as you test fly them. This allows you to keep your broadheads in pristine condition. Because I believe when you start trying to sharpen those things back up, even though you're only taking a little bit off, you always stand a chance to bend a vein or bend the blade so it acts more like a bent vein, to unbalance it or whatever you might have. If I'm going for that maybe once in my lifetime wall hanger, and I'm happen to be in a bow that time, I want to make sure that I got a good shot. And for me, it's going to be worth my efforts to try to have a brand new arrow, brand new broadhead. Now, this, in theory, I listened to all the conventional wisdom when I set up initially. This is an 85 interlock. It's a good looking blade. It's good looking, it's balanced, it's well done. They measure out well, right on the money on the weight. It just doesn't really fly very well. And I think I'm beginning to see that effect of weight forward. I think it's a little too light. In this shaft that I showed you, the one with the big massive end on it, when I put the 85 in it, I'm right about 50-50 on the weight center point. With a field tip, it's stable. It flies, it groups. I put this broadhead in it, and it doesn't group. So I think I'm pushing it, as you get closer to that center mark, 50-50, I think that's when you start, no matter how much steerage you put on the back of it, I think you're getting into that point. But still, it's a small, low profile, got a good 1 1/8 cutting diameter. It's not a bad broadhead, but it can affect the flight. 100 grain on that arrow I just showed you, tightens perfectly. 125, perfect. Now, you can go 4-blade, 3-blade. With the 3 vanes pushing, the 3-blade seemed to tighten up a little bit better. With 4 blades, I can push either one of those, 3 or 4, and it works fine. And it doesn't seem to really matter if they're lined up or not. That 4th blazer seems to make a real big difference in how tight my broadheads got. Now, this broadhead, think about it. If you've got any wiggle back and forth, this kind of configuration, if you're in this plane, this one stands a pretty good chance of throwing you off the mark. If it's in that side, as small as they are, it may not move it at all. But do you know? So that's kind of more of the original style broadheads people used to buy. Now this little guy is a mechanical, and this is what people go to when they can't get their bow straightened out. The reason they go for it is it looks very much like a field tip. I don't trust them myself, because you catch that little edge, any of these little pieces, and they're all like this. You catch one of those little blades with a leaf or anything on the way down, and then that flips out, and now suddenly you've got, for that moment, hey, boom, you got a flywheel, and if this one comes out before the other two do, and some of them are spring loaded so that each blade will pop out independently, you got an arrow that's going wild. And for me, it's just not worth it. I want something that I know is going to open, because it's open when it leaves my hand. Boom. These guys also, some of them require the use of a broadhead ring. And what that is the little guy that sits up in between here and a small diameter shaft. And the reason that was there is because some of these little O-rings, and the way they mechanically mate, are like almost right up against that material here, and they needed a metal surface. And you can use a broadhead ring whether you use a mechanical or not. So I'm not a fan of mechanicals, but they do tune easy because there's really nothing to tune. But you do have some unknowns, and of the little bit of experience I have with them, they're not all that uniformly made, although I'm sure they're much better this many years later. Something to think about. Weight forward on my standard 4 Vane Blazer 28-inch ST axis with a 125. I had it 39% right here. If I put the 100, it's 41.6. I put the 85, I'm at 42.8. With the light speed, I was at about 45, and it was not very accurate. And if I put the 4 vane, it was pushing 45 at 45%. And once I put the 85 in, it actually, with a broadhead, it became actually a non-groupable error. So those are some thoughts. I'm going to go see how much runtime I have left, see if this is too long, and we'll see if we can't get something put together.